This is the new BMW i7 and it's a little bit like the Samsung Galaxy Fold because one of this car's key selling points is the fact that it's got the largest screen of any car. Now in this video I'm going to talk you through its technology. I'm going to show you around the exterior design, we're going to have a look inside, we're going to see how practical it is, we're going to take it for a drive. Of course I'm going to launch it to see how quick it is from 0 to 60 miles an hour, but I'm also going to get the normal petrol powered 7 Series as well and launch that, see how quick that is from 0 to 60 miles an hour because I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Car Wow. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way, you won't miss a single upload. Buy, sell, Car Wow. Let's start this video by talking about the design of the new 7 Series and i7. And essentially they look exactly the same, apart from the fact that the i7 has some little blue bits to signify that it's electric. You can get 2 trim levels, M Sport or Excellence. M Sport have slightly more aggressive bumpers and stuff like that, and black bits of trim rather than silvery ones. And from the rear, this looks like quite an aggressive car because there's lots going on, lots of shapes happening. Moving down the side, it's classic BMW 7 Series, which means it's basically a slab. You know, there's not much going on really down the sides, apart from the new door handles, which are like on the iX, so you just open them by pressing a button in there. Huge alloy wheels, look at the size of those. Moving to the front and the most controversial part of this car. Obviously you've got the big double kidney grille there and those split headlights, a little bit like a Citroen Picasso. Nice. Do you know what? It may be a bit on the hideous side. I understand how people don't like it, but I sort of do. It looks really aggressive, especially in this black paint. If you look at it from this angle here, there's something shark-like about it. Now, you might be thinking, well, I still don't like it, but actually this car hasn't been designed for Europeans or even Americans. According to BMW, the largest market for this car, 45% of the sales will be in China, and their target audience then is 38-year-olds in China. That's who this car's been designed for, and that means that I'm basically a 38-year-old from China, because I do like the look of this car. As for the price, well, it starts from £102,000 for the 7 Series or £108,000 for the electric-powered i7. Now, if you're thinking about buying a new car and you want to make sure that you're picking the right car for you and paying a fair price for it, you need to check out Car Wow. Just Google "Help Me Car Wow" and my team and I will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers. You can check out all the latest offers on all the latest cars. Here on the inside, the new i7 feels really high quality. I think overall the materials feel a little bit more expensive than they do in a Mercedes EQS. And the design, it's not as controversial as it is on the outside, but it's still pretty jazzy. I mean, look at this big crystal bit across the whole dash there, and you can see that you've got ambient lighting behind it, and it actually changes colour depending on what functions you're operating. So if I put the hazard lights on, you get this effect. Wow. Then there's more of what BMW calls crystal clarity with the iDrive controller there and the door switches and stuff like that, just like you have on the iX already. Also, like the iX, you have the curved infotainment screen there with BMW's latest operating system, which you're not going to bother with. You're just going to plug in your phone, use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. They don't even need to plug them in because you can use wireless if you want. Then you've got the digital driver's display here, and there's something new for the i7 and 7 Series, and it's augmented reality. So you know how you can have augmented reality on the iX, and it was something Mercedes did ages ago, where you get a live camera feed of the road ahead and then it'll display graphics to see which way to go. Well, on this car you now have it here right in front of you, which is much better than having to look over there, and I'll show you that working a little later on in this video. Some other things I want to show you this. I really like the way they've done this with the design. You can't actually see the air vents, they're just like integrated into this strip here, and then you move them around like that and you turn them off and on using this slider here. Then you've got this sort of like carbon fibre effect underneath the dash. There's loads of leather everywhere with this kind of layered dash. I quite like it. Cameraman Jack doesn't like it so much. Quality of the leather in here is, yeah, it's all super luxurious. But if you don't want dead animal, you can actually get a vegan friendly version, which is like a synthetic leather, which BMW calls Veganza. You can definitely sign me up for that, and I think I want it in red. Anyway, this guy has the fabulous Bowers & Wilkins sound system, and it's got these lovely metallic speaker vents which just feel so expensive. What's less expensive feeling though, the parts of the steering wheel. Where you hold is fine, if a little bit chunky. This bit though, it's horribly plasticky. Now the driving position, yeah, it's spot on. There needs to get yourself comfy behind the wheel here, like that. There's loads of adjustment. In terms of practicality, door bins are a decent size and they're lined with felt and they feel really sturdy. I mean, look at that, look at the quality. And they've done something a little bit unusual with the cup holders. They sort of made them square. And then you've got your place for your mobile phone for your wireless charging. Though there's your USB-C inputs there and a good old-fashioned 12-volt socket there as well. If you want to go to the glove box, you press that button there and then it lowers. Once again, lined with felt. All feels very, very expensive and luxurious. And I can just show you how luxurious this car exactly is, because not only have you got this lovely suede feeling headliner, it's obviously not suede, it's like Alcantara or something like that, or BMW's version of it. Look at that. You have like a real nice diffuse light for the vanity mirror. Then there's the carpets. You've got thick pile, look at that. It's almost like a Rolls Royce, which of course BMW owns. Yes, it does feel like a very expensive special car here on the inside. Hello, you right in there? Everything okay? You sure? Anyway, let's move on to the back seats, because one of the main talking points about this car is the fact you can get it with this amazing drop-down 31-inch 8K cinema screen. It's insane, and you can plug devices in via HDMI, so you can fit cameras, which is what I've done here. That's how I'm filming myself on it. Look, it's nuts! I'll just put that up there so you can see what I'm doing. What I'm going to do now, though, is change the input. So I'm going to move to Amazon Fire TV, and then, come on, load up. There we go. I'm going to go onto YouTube. Annoyingly, when you're using Amazon Fire TV, you can't use the whole screen as a touch screen, because you have to use the interface that Amazon Fire TV have. Or you can actually use this little controller down here. So we're going to go onto Fire TV, and now I can move things around, or I can use a keypad, or I can just swipe in text as I want to. Anyhow, what I want to do is watch a video. That's the video I'm going to watch, but I've got to press play using that. See? Bit frustrating that. Shame they haven't integrated it fully, but that's just the way it is. Come on, play this video. I know it's going to be awesome. Here we go. Look at this sexy man here. Another electric car from another brand. Anyhow, what I want to do is go full screen. So click on that, go to display, and go full on widescreen. Come on. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get some sound, because we've got a 2,000 watt sound system with 4D sound. And it includes, let's just shut that idiot up, it's just always rattling on ears. Anyhow, it includes exciters in the lower part of the seats. It vibrates in the back. The sound is incredible inside this car if you have the fully upgraded Bowers & Wilkins system. Love it. Now, I should probably talk about other things you can do with this particular device. You can, of course, think, do you know what, I've had enough of my screen now. I want to fold it away. Go on, be off. There we go. And I think I also want to have all my blinds down. So let's take all the blinds down so I can see again. Yes, all the blinds. This is the roof as well. Open. There we go. Now the roof, as you'll notice here, has these little strips in, and that's because it can actually change colour. The tech inside the back of this car is just absolutely wonderful. But I want to get fully comfortable, so now I'm going to do my seat. Let's go into full recline mode. So just going to move the front passenger seat forward and out the way. This will take a wee while. Generally, knee room is good anyway, even if you're not moving the seat out of the way. Loads of knee room. Also, headroom's really good as well. The seats are super comfy. You've got this armrest here and some storage under here with USB ports, charging pad for your mobile phone, and oh, what's happening? Oh, this part is extending and lifting up my legs. Lovely. It's like when you're in business class on an airplane, the seat just goes into that lie back, relaxed position. It's exactly the same, and you've got a huge footrest as well. So, oh yeah, this is absolutely wonderful. Now what I'm going to do is go into the seat and put on the massage as well. Oh yes, this has a massage, downward motion. I like a bit of downward motion, me. Yeah, this is a very, very luxurious, comfy car. Though it's also slightly practical as well. Look, if you want to carry a baby, there's ISOFIX hanger points there that are very easy to get to. And you have some decent sized door bins, airplane style folders on the seat backs, and lovely, comfy cushions to rest your head on. Now let's check out the boot. So come on, arise. So you have 500 litres of space on the i7 and 525 litres on the 7 Series. But the Mercedes EQS has a big capacity of 610 litres still. I'll get the BMW this. It's got a nice wide opening, which is handy when you're having to load things in and out. And I want to show you the boot. And we've got so much stuff in it. So you'll see me loading stuff in and out now. Look at this. Oh, this is all Jack stuff. Come on, man, Jack. With all his blooming cameras. So we've got all this water. We're not properly hydrated. You could get bad headaches. That'd be terrible. Okay, so look, now you should be able to see what the boot is like when it's empty. There's some storage under here, which is obviously, this is full of drugs, and we're going to do a drug deal in a bit. Actually, this is the last car I'll probably choose to do a drug deal in. It's too conspicuous. I'll go for something like an old Toyota Corolla or something. Anyhow, it's not drugs in here, look, it's charging cables. And you got some tie down points. And I've got to tell you, the quality feel extends even into the boot. One thing this car doesn't have though is the ability to fold down the rear seats if you need to carry longer items. That brings us to 5 annoying things about the new BMW i7 and 7 Series. Being an electric car, obviously there is no huge internal combustion engine under this massive bonnet, so BMW clearly made good use of that by creating what is the biggest front boot of any car. Must be under this really large covery thing here. They haven't really done much with that, have they? So there is just enough room for me to store this rather amazing piece of fossil record that I've just found. I'm out here in the desert, so where will that fit? That's all fine like that, that's all fine. Yeah, all fine. I've long complained about manufacturers putting the climate controls into the infotainment system because then you have to press too many buttons such as look climate menu, or I need to fiddle with it this way. Now what BMW have done is gone one step further in the wrong direction. For instance, with the adaptive cruise control, in the past on BMWs you could change the distance that would keep you from the car in front by using a dial on the steering wheel. Now though, you press the button next to My Modes, going into driver assistance, and then changing the distance control here. Then there's the fact that if you want to alter the amount of regen, so on a Mercedes EQS, you can use the paddles to increase regen or decrease regen, or put it into automatic. With this though, once again, you have to press this button, then go into drivetrain and chassis, and then go into energy recuperation, and set from this drop-down menu how you'd like it. See how fiddly it is? Last thing is the blinds. Now, on some luxury cars, you just pull the door window switch ever so slightly to make the blind up and down before you operate the window itself. However, with the 7 Series, you have to press this button there to access the menu on the screen, and then you do it this way. Far too much that has a step where you have to access it first by pressing a button here, usually signified by these 3 different lines to open a menu, and then proceeding to do the actual action through the bloody screen. Why? If you have a VIP, such as me, in the back seat who insists on watching the cinema for the whole journey, you can kiss goodbye to your rear visibility through the mirror, because look, yeah, you can see absolutely nothing now, can you? There's loads of ultrasonic sensors over this car to help with the driver assistance systems, and they look like normal parking sensors because that's basically what they are. However, they look a bit ugly. Got them in the door handles there, and like down here on the lower part of the sill. It's kind of like this car's got a bad outbreak of acne. While the normal internal combustion engine powered 7 Series has 2 gear shifter pedals, you have just 1 paddle here on the i7, and it says boost on it. And the reason you have that is because if you're driving the car in just normal driving mode, you only have 490 horsepower. When you go into sports mode, by selecting My Modes, you then have the full 544 horsepower. What this boost button does is give you the full 544 horsepower, you know, what you've paid for 10 seconds if you're driving in normal mode. Why don't you just have the full power in normal driving mode? Just alter the throttle map. Stupid. And rather than doing this whole stupid thing, why didn't BMW just do what Mercedes do and have the paddles for altering the regen? Nonsense. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. The reversing camera is exposed, so you might think that when it's like grimy outside, you're going to get it covered in muck and then you have to clean it by hand. But no, BMW thought of that because you just press a button inside the cabin and then it will wash itself. I don't know why I find that so amusing. I do though. The huge battery pack on the i7 is really thin. If you look down here, you can see that it's only 11 centimeters deep. And that means that BMW have been able to use the exact same seating position in the i7 as they use in the 7 Series, even though that car doesn't have any batteries. This car has the ability to maneuver itself. So what I'm going to do here is just drive along. Imagine that I'm returning home, and when I get home I have to do this random collection of manoeuvres to be able to park in my parking space. Really frustrating that you don't have to keep repeating. Now when I record a preset path for the car, it should pop up and recognise it there. Look, it's going to pop up there, recorded path 7. So I press that, and what it's going to do now is drive itself along this path. You can see it's retracing the manoeuvres that I did before. Look, I'm doing nothing. The car's doing all this. But imagine, you know, you've had a really tough day, you're coming back late, you're tired, you don't have to do this kind of crazy manoeuvre every single time that you come back to your house. You don't have to worry though, the car will do it all for you. Oh, you can just relax. let it do its thing. You'll see that the path that I actually recorded for it was pretty rubbish. Can you see the marks? But it remembers it all and it'll just recreate it. I'm sure there's an easier way to get into that parking space. But anyway, I'm kind of making a point, aren't I, that this car will basically just remember exactly what you told it to do and recreate it. It will stop, say if someone walks in front of the car, so you don't need to worry about safety. But here we go, finally I'm now reversing into my space. It's actually good. And let's say you are coming back late at night, this is a very good time for you to go on your phone, delete all your messages from your mistress right quickly before you go back into your house. Because you know what will happen, if you don't do that, then you'll go back in, put your phone down, your wife will pick up your phone, check your messages, see that, you're going to get a divorce, you're not going to see your kids again, you're going to be financially ruined. Whereas this BMW could save that from happening to you. Look, all done and dusted. How awesome is that? Are you just too freaking rich to be bothered to lean out to grab the handle to shut the door? Don't worry, just press a button. Does it automatically. You don't even have to push the door to open it. Just press the button again, opens. Now you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, what happens if you open the door and there's a car really close to you? Is it just not going to smash into the other car or into a person or whatever? Don't worry, they thought about that. The sensors in the doors which stop that from happening. Look. See? Perfectly fine. With the old 7 Series, you could drive it by remote control using the key, whereas with the new one, you can do it with your phone. So here we go. Come on, walkies. That's it. Heel. Heel. Good car. Good car. Okay, sit. That's it. That's it. It's very well behaved, this 7 Series. The i7 xDrive 60 is powered by 2 electric motors, one on the front axle and one on the rear axle, which you can see here through this cutaway. Now combined, they put out 544 horsepower and 745 newton meters of torque. You've got a 102 kilowatt hour battery pack, which BMW says is good enough for a range of 388 miles. You've got AC charging of 22 kilowatt hours, which means you can charge the battery pack from empty to full on AC in under 6 hours. It's also got DC charging rate of 195 kilowatts. And you can put 100 miles of range on this car in just 10 minutes. Right, let's see what this i7 is like to drive. So I'm just cruising along a very empty, very straight American highway. You'd barely know I was moving. It's so quiet here. So very quiet. Also, so very comfy. Occasionally there's a bump in the road, but you can hear it because the tyres like making slightly different noises as they go over it, but you don't feel anything. This car's adaptive air suspension, so it just slackens off if it feels a bump, and then it stiffens up again if you start going around some bends. That's all very luxurious. I'm actually driving to go to an In-N-Out burger. It's what most people with the 7 Series will do. I've got my sat-nav working, but I don't really need it because everywhere in Palm Springs it just seems to be go straight. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn on the cruise control. I don't have to do anything. The car will steer, brake, accelerate, do all that kind of stuff, keep me in lane. Now I'm coming up to a 45 mile an hour zone. Hopefully the sat-nav will recognise this and tell me to go slower. Alternatively, it may completely ignore that sign and just go about its business. Car, why aren't you recognising this? It says 45. Oh, finally it's got it. And then, what, you're going to go at me for being distracted? I was trying to just... Oh, what's going on with it? It got a bit cross because I criticised it. Now we're finally getting to In-N-Out Burger, and the satellite navigation is giving me directions here on the display in front of me, telling me to turn left. If you take a wrong direction, you're clearly an idiot. Here we go. Come on. Oh no, I've been an idiot. Oh, I missed the turning. Oh, what an absolute muppet. After all of that, saying that you can't miss a turning, you can miss a turning if you're a complete fool.
A few moments later.
Now, let's see if we can park this into one of the gaps. Oh, there's plenty of space. Don't need to worry. The other thing I like about this car is the brilliant reversing camera. So, reverse. Oh, I can't get this wrong, surely. Of course. Do you know what? I don't know why I'm even doing this. The car can do it itself. Let's do that. Look at that, it shows where you're going into. It's not quite very straight. Come on, you've got to have another go at this. Come on. Look, no hands. Right, let's get some food. Just leaving In-N-Out Burger now. I feel absolutely disgusted with myself because I ate 2 double doubles. Anyway, hopefully I won't disgust myself with not being able to follow simple directions, so it's telling me to go left. I'm going to switch the car into B mode, so that gives me 1 pedal drive. So I think I can just go now, right? I don't understand this. Is this like the American Crossroads things where you have to wait for people then you go? I don't know. This guy seems to be going as well. They are going, everyone's going. What the hell is going on? Why do they have this system? Why can't they just have normal traffic lights? Anyway, yes, full 1 pedal driving. I like that. Hate it when manufacturers do almost 1 pedal driving, so you lift off the accelerator and it does slow down quite severely, but it never actually brings it to a complete stop. Anyway, enough of that rant over. Let's see what this i7 is like when you chuck it at some bends. Whoop, 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 whoop. So it's got the active anti-roll bar, stopping it leaning so much. You've got the battery weight low down the floor, though this is a very heavy car. Weighs in at over 2.6 tons. But it's got plenty of punch, and obviously you've got 4-wheel drive traction. And instant response from those electric motors actually handles quite well. But above all else, this car's more about just cruising silently and effortlessly. With that in mind, let's launch it. BMW says the i760 can do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.7 seconds, but I'm going to time it with my specialist timing gear up here. I've got it in sport mode, and that enables launch control. So left foot on the brake, floor the throttle, vibrates the back wheels to build up tension. We've got Hans Zimmer's composed noises building up the tension as well. And I'm going to release the brake now. Zero to 60, 4.37 seconds. Pretty rapid. I've jumped out of the i7 and I'm now in the 7 Series. So it's pretty much the same car, but instead of the 2 electric motors and battery pack, we've got a good old-fashioned internal combustion engine. It's a 4.4 litre twin-turbo V8 with a mild hybrid system, so a little electric motor to boost the torque. This engine will actually go into the next M5, so it's an S engine. Pretty special getting that in the 7 Series. The interesting thing is that BMW is giving it the exact same power output as the i7. You've got 5 Newton meters more torque though, 750 Newton meters. Also, we haven't got 2 electric motors, we've got a 4-wheel drive system which divvies the power between the front and the rear axle. This car is supposed to do 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. Now it's lower than the i7 because this thing weighs 2.2 tons, which is 400 kilos lighter than that heavy i7 with all its batteries. What will this car do 0 to 60 in reality? We're going to find out here. I've got my specialist timing gear. So will it do a sub 4 second? I think it might. Launch control activated. Whoa, feels quick. 0 to 60, 4.04 seconds. So didn't quite beat the 4-second barrier. Let's give it another go though. Get that boost up. Oh yes, we did a sub 4. 3.94 seconds. When it comes to 0 to 60 times, the internal combustion engine wins on this occasion. Now I've got cameraman Jack in the car with me now because I want him to help me demonstrate something that I've just found out on this new 7 Series. Now with the i7, BMW has worked with composer Hans Zimmer to create a wide range of fake noises to enhance the experience when you're accelerating, because obviously being electric it's otherwise silent. Now you can turn those sounds on and off using this button here called Iconic Sounds, and I found that the Iconic Sounds on off button is here in the 7 Series. Now for a long time I've known that BMW has enhanced the sound of its internal combustion engine cars by playing engine noises through the speakers, and this is them pretty much admitting it now because you can turn that enhancement on or off in this car. I'm going to let you have a listen to the difference when it's on and off. I'm going to start off with it off and then Jack will turn it on as I drive along. See if you can spot the difference. Accelerating through first. Turn it off again. Turn it on again. That was really noticeable then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like we hit VTEC.
It was just like VTEC, wasn't it? BMW fake VTEC. I prefer it with it on. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Will you have it on or off? Right, I've headed out to some twisty roads out in the desert, and this is a good opportunity to see what this 760 is like at handling. Being 400 kilos lighter than the i7, you do notice it's just a little bit more agile, and having gears and an internal combustion engine to play with. It's nice, I can change down, I can change up, and when you do, you get like this jolt as well when you're in sports mode. It just adds to the whole experience. And for all Hans Zimmer's composery greatness, I do prefer the sound of a V8. than some kind of weird electronic noises that you get in the i7. I just do. What doesn't add to the fun though is when you're just cruising around and going slow, you do feel the gear change a bit, even though this car does a good job of blending them. And then when you're slowing down, it's changing down gears, you do notice that step a little bit more, and you don't have any of that with the i7 because it has no gearbox. Either way, both cars are super comfortable, but this definitely feels more agile. However, you're not buying one of these cars for hooning down a twisty road, and if you want like a sporty luxury car, you're probably better off looking at an Audi S8 anyway. It has similar power to this, but it just has a sharper edge to it, it really does. This is more about luxury, and it does luxury superbly. Tell you what is interesting, this car also has the boost button, so to activate on this, you have to pull the downshift pedal and hold it, and then you get 10 seconds of boost. So you're in sports mode for 10 seconds. However, unlike the i7, you don't have any extra performance when you go into sports mode, because regardless of which mode you're in, whether it's personal, relax or whatever, when you've got the normal 7 Series, you always have full power at your disposal. Anyway, I'm not going to rattle on about that anymore, it's getting boring, isn't it? I'll tell you what's not boring though, the paint scheme on this particular car, it's great. I love this two-tone. It's the first time BMW have ever done it on one of their cars. I absolutely adore it. It's got a cool little pinstripe down it. It's not a sticker, it's painted. Then there's the interior of this car, which is the cashmere. It's really nice. Now with a luxury car, you think you definitely have to have super soft leather, but it works, this does, this cashmere. It looks really lovely in the back and it feels comfortable to sit on. And you know what? In Japan, they see wool or cashmere as being more luxurious than leather, because when you move on leather, it squeaks, and also leather can get hot, whereas this doesn't. In fact, one of my favourite cars ever is a Toyota Century. Executives in Japan get chauffeured around in them. In fact, the Emperor of Japan gets chauffeured around in one, and they have wall seats. Anyway, back to the 7 Series and its upgraded cruise control system. So as before, you have automatic cruise control, which will use a radar to keep you a safe distance from the car in front, automatically accelerate and decelerate as necessary, and it'll steer to keep you in lane. That does just take the strain out of long distance journeys. However, if you take your hands off the steering wheel, it'll soon recognise and start to beep and then eventually disengage, because you're not allowed to do that. Well, you're not allowed to do that in Europe, but you can in the United States of America. And if you are in the US, you can then access something called Assist Plus. Look, it says it's ready. So I'll press that. I've got into Assist Plus mode now, which means I can take my hands off the steering wheel. Don't have to hold the steering wheel at all. Sit there like that. Fine. Maybe stretching out my fingers or something. What I can't do is just be on my phone though, or I don't know, having a nap or staring out the window, because there's a couple of cameras there that use infrared technology, and they look at your eyes, and if it can tell that your eyes are otherwise off the road, it will get to cross and make a noise to complain. There it is. So get your eyes back on the road. Now, I don't even have to touch the steering wheel to change lanes. Like in a Tesla, you just do that and the car will move across automatically. So then, what's my final verdict? Well, first of all, I need to explain which I think is the best choice between the i760 and the normal 7 Series 760. Well, do you know what? They're both really good. But for luxury cars, I think electrical propulsion just works that little bit better. It's silent, you've got instant acceleration, it just suits it, and the added weight isn't such a penalty on a big heavy car anyway. I guess the only issue is the range. Now, the range of this is pretty similar. It's just easier to fill it up than it is to charge up the i7. However, if range is not an issue to you, I would go with the electric i7. So then, what's my final verdict overall for that car? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should just go right ahead and buy the i7 and make sure you get it in this wonderful two-tone paint. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you want to watch some more videos, there's some cool ones here. Go watch them, you will enjoy them. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel by hitting the CarWow logo there.